It is Wave 97.9 WHAV, and we have a couple of guests that are in the studio this morning. We have Dave Dahn from Haverhill, and we also have Jonathan Campbell, also from Haverhill too. Oh my gosh, we're all a bunch of Haverhill Hillies, except me. I'm a foreigner, I guess. I didn't grow up in Haverhill, but I've been around long enough that I know a lot about the city. But Dave and Jonathan, they got to know each other. Dave, how many years ago when did this happen?
This happened in February, so it's recent. February,
okay. And Dave and his wife Kim, they needed to get a flight to get a medical procedure done. And Jonathan works with Angel Flight Northeast, and he helped coordinate the whole thing. And Dave, we'll let you talk about why you had to have not you, but why your wife Kim had to have the medical procedure.
Of course. So it was an interesting opportunity. We had a world-renowned surgeon that was in the States for only a short period of time, 3 days, and he was in a hospital in Virginia. The closest airport was roughly 40 minutes away, so we could get there. The logistics weren't too bad getting down, but coming back after surgery was going to be extremely difficult because there is a 40-minute drive when you're post-surgery trauma and so forth, so we would have had to wait not only in the car, but wait at the airport, go through security lines. There was layovers, so what would have been a 10-hour flight, we just didn't think that was feasible. So we reached out to Jonathan's group, and his team helped us arrange flights that were direct, actually. So we ended up at an airport right out of Lawrence, and we ended up right next to the hospital, and we trimmed our 10-hour, really scary post-surgical journey down to 2 hours, and it was direct, and I think one of the main things was the way the Angel Flight was in constant contact with us. Ours was a little difficult in that the flight down was scheduled, but the recovery time was in the air, so we could not book a return date with Jonathan and his team because we didn't know when Kim would be ready to travel, ready to get out of the hospital and go home. So while we were working on recovering, Jonathan kept us really in contact with a group of pilots that he had scheduled and ready to take us home. And one of the things that I'm sure Jonathan can talk about, but they fly under a special call sign under Angel Flight, and that gives them, I don't want to call it a priority, but the flight back, the pilot was able to sort of dictate the right altitude and route to maximize comfort and minimize trauma for Kim on the way home. So the whole experience was absolutely wonderful. I can't say enough about Angel Flight. They are a great group of people.
Now, you can let me know or don't let me know, but the reason she had to have the surgery?
So she has a rare condition, and this spawned from her running the Boston Marathon. I think some things which is fortuitous because that's coming up in a couple of weeks, but there was some conditions that presented themselves after your body goes through the training and the 26-mile run, and what we had done in Virginia was related to superior mesenteric artery syndrome, or SMAS. It deals with your GI tract and part of your lower GI being either twisted or compressed, and they had to go in and do a fairly major surgery to be able to fix that. And there was two doctors right now in the States, one that travels around the world, the other one is in Virginia, that are sort of the experts on this. And they were the one doctor that was the lead physician on this, lead surgeon, was only in town for 3 days, so we had a short window to figure out and a short time to get there. We got accepted into the program in 2 weeks before the date of the surgery, so we immediately reached out to Jonathan, and there was a lot of juggling going on. We had a lot of complications with, can we make it down? There was weather windows. There was a snowstorm going on at the time, so we couldn't even fly direct into where we were going was Blacksburg, Virginia. We couldn't fly direct. We had to actually do some hops, and the pilots were very accommodating. We flew into Philadelphia. As a Patriots fan, it was heartbreaking because it was right after they won the Super Bowl, right? So everything's decorated in green, ridiculous. But so we went from Boston to Philly, and then Philly direct to right next to the hospital. And the Angel Flight team was so accommodating. The pilots were absolutely amazing. A comfortable flight. If you've never been in a small plane and you think you're scared of it, I would say don't be. It was amazing. It was direct, very accommodating. The pilots were making sure that we were comfortable all the way. We had headsets so we could understand where the rerouting was going and everything. So very calm and reassuring and secure flight.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Angel Flight Northeast, and Jonathan Campbell is one of those that works with them. And Jonathan told me his real title is Mission Coordinator. And Jonathan, this had to be a mission that had to be coordinated, huh?
Oh, absolutely. And just a little bit of background: Angel Flight Northeast is a 501(c)(3) charity, and we've been around since 1996, and we provide medical transportation, air transportation generally, for people who have a need and need to travel a significant distance to get the medical treatment they need. And a lot of our patients come from like northern Maine, northern New York, needing to come to Boston or New York and things like that. There is no cost at all to patients or their families for this service. And we also work with JetBlue and Cape Air as well in terms of partners providing transportation. But for Kim's specific thing, it was a challenge because, as David touched upon, there were weather issues. It was a relatively short amount of time to arrange things, but when he first contacted us, we got on to the task at hand and sent out emails to a lot of our pilots who have longer distance airplanes that can make this trip, hopefully with nonstop. We had great response from our pilots. So we have a group of between 300 and 400 pilots who have signed up to be volunteers, and they fly their own airplanes in order and provide this service to their own flying skills and everything else, again, at no cost. We had people signed up and also backup pilots for the flight down. As David touched upon, going to Virginia, because of the weather systems involved that day, we couldn't get to Virginia in one day. Weather was good up here, but it was bad. It was icy and low clouds in Virginia. So they flew to Philadelphia, spent the night in Philadelphia. The next day it cleared up in Virginia and continued on to that. And so, again, on the return as well, the major weather condition there was the winds aloft. Pilots had to battle very strong winds going down, or what would be a 2-hour flight ended up about 3.5 hours, but good for Dave and Kim on the way back. It was quick. It was like an hour and a half. So weather becomes a factor, but it's a fascinating, story, and for us, and when we can put things together and things come together like that, it's a great feeling.
Are there medical people on the plane?
Nope. This is for people who are in stable condition. We don't provide any medical monitoring. This is not like an air ambulance. But if they have to be stable and they're on their way to either treatments or appointments or such, there's no limit on the number of times. So again, it's a volunteer basis on our pilots. But no, for people who have more critical care, where they need care in flight, we would direct them to an air ambulance company. So,
Jonathan, you talk like a pilot. Are you a pilot?
I am not a pilot. I years ago got a pilot's license, never did anything with it, but I'm a retired air traffic controller. Did 30 years with the FAA. So I know how to talk to pilots.
All right. Well, that's just an amazing thing. I've been trying to get folks on from Angel Flight Northeast for a long time, and every time I start to make connections, they're always busy. They're doing like charitable work, trying to raise funds, and I'm sure that the organization can always use funds, right?
Oh, absolutely, and we appreciate any support we can get. And if people are interested, they can go to our website, which is www.angelflightne.org, or we can call our office 978-794-6868. But also as well, if somebody in our listening audience has in their family or somebody they know that needs medical transportation, because obviously medical costs these days are going through the roof, and transportation costs can go on top of that. So if somebody is in that situation, they need assistance, again, please give us a call or contact us. We'd be more than willing to process a request and talk to them about their situation.
And the ceiling this morning is approximately?
I have not been into work yet, but I mean, it's I don't even want to guess. But again, all our pilots are instrument rated. They have at least 500 hours of flying time. So these volunteer pilots are fully qualified. They have their own and safety for us is absolutely the first priority. So if a pilot, whatever their minimums are personally, we back them 100%. If they don't like the weather, they can cancel. We tell people that up front. So it's again, safety is the most important thing to us. So.
And Dave, you must have been so thrilled to find out that you had the transportation lined up.
What a tremendous stress relief it was just to have that logistical piece taken care of, because there's when you're Kim and I, trying to navigate through the healthcare system and the insurance and the out-of-state piece, there's a lot that goes into it, and having that sort of handed off to people that you trust, and then going through the experience, I can absolutely report that that was the most comfortable flight I think I've ever been on. Less stress, which was really important, and it was just timely. So I would recommend Angel Flight. These pilots, the volunteers, they are looking for people to help. If you want to go onto their website and see if you can volunteer to help drive people to the airports or from the airports or even to appointments, it's an amazing opportunity to support other people. So I think that's what we're here, is just to shine a light on. There's caring people out there. There's solutions out there. If it's financial or distance difficulty, in ours it was absolutely post-surgical trauma that we were trying to avoid, and we did that. And Angel Flight was with their angels. I guess that's the best place to put it.
Now Kim, she couldn't get this procedure done in Boston, huh?
Correct. There's very few experts on the procedure she had done, and the world-renowned surgeon was in Virginia for 3 days, so we had a tight window, and his partner that was the surgeon that's now nationally and internationally renowned for this procedure were there at the same time. So it was a really tight window. Boston, unfortunately, doesn't have a focus on SMAS, so anybody that's afflicted with some rare disorders, don't be discouraged, because with transportation restrictions opening up through Angel Flight, you can get to where you need to get treatment.
And how's she doing now these days?
Well, the surgery was a tremendous success. We're just going through recovery right now, and if you want to follow her story, we're going to post it back up. It's canyouhearme.info, and you can follow Kim's journey along. She's out to help people now and bring awareness to SMAS and Angel Flight and some other rare disorders that really need attention, but the moral of why we're here is there are solutions and people out there that want to help, and I can't say enough about Angel Flight. Jonathan was amazing.
Oh, well, Jonathan, thank you for helping out and coordinating all this stuff.
Absolutely, and we're just thrilled it all came together, and like David touched on, we could get him to an airport that basically was right next to the hospital, as opposed to him, Roanoke was 40 miles away or whatever. So it all came together so well, and we're just very thankful to our pilots that took part in this and provided those services. Thank you.
So with their own planes, smaller planes, they don't need as long of a runway to land. They can get in places they wouldn't normally be able to get into. Exactly.
They flew into, I believe it's Blacksburg.
Yes.
Was the town, and they don't have airline service into Blacksburg. Like the closest airline service was Roanoke, and David talked about the hours and the logistics of getting in and out of this. Our pilots can get into these airports that are closer to the destinations where people need to go, providing us greater options for anyone we can help. So.
Can you use helicopters at all?
Not at this time. Helicopters are not under our insurance at the moment. So, but the flights, we have people with everything from little Cessnas to even corporate type jets that provide these flights and everything in between. So we have lots of options to look at if we're setting up flights for patients.
All right. Well, thank you for the story. Maybe we can get you back on again to get the follow-up. What was that web?
So Kim's website is canyouhearme.info.
We'll
have that up shortly.
Okay, canyouhearme.info. All right. Well, Dave, Jonathan, anything else you'd like to add this morning?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to tell our story and bring some light to Angel Flight. They can always use volunteers and contributions, so angelflightne.org.
angelflightne.org. How about you, Jonathan? Anything you'd like to add?
Thank you very much, Wynn, for having us on to tell a little bit about Angel Flight stories and what we do. There's lots of people we help, lots of stories we've had over the years, and we very much appreciate this support. So
it's my pleasure to do that. All right. Well, Jonathan Campbell, who's the mission coordinator for Angel Flight Northeast, our guest this morning here on the Wave, and Dave Dahn, whose wife Kim was she was the one that benefited. Well, actually, the whole family benefited with getting her into to Virginia to get the operation and take care of that. So congratulations and wish her the best. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, Dave Dahn and his wife Kim, who couldn't make it this morning, and Jonathan Campbell from Angel Flight Northeast are guests this morning on the Wave 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Wynn Damon weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the Wave, WHAV.